This is the initial part of a sales call is structure. Okay, so it's the intro or pre-frame. This is very simple to me. I just get them on the call and I let them know what's going to happen. All right. Again, I know you guys will giggle, but the analogy for a date. If you tell them what's going to happen before the date, there's no surprises. If you tell them during the date, it may not go well, right? So you say, hey, I'm going to pick you up at 6. I'm going to take you out. We're going to go to dinner. After, we're going to go to the movies. Then we'll go back to my place or whatever you want to say, okay? Because then they know what to expect and there's no curveballs. That is the best way to start a sales call. Hey, I'm super glad you're on the call. We're going to go through what your goals are, what you're struggling with, what you tried. At the end, if you feel it's a fit, you'll have an opportunity to work with me. If you don't feel it's a fit, all I ask is you can tell me no. Does that sound fair? It could be that simple. Expectations, okay? You want to make sure you set the expectation. You tell them exactly what they're going to get. You don't want to throw any curveballs. Number 2 is then going to be the discovery. Now, people get really crazy with discovery. The whole point in discovery is if you didn't have a script in front of you, what's the point? The point in discovery is to understand what they need and to figure out how to get them to make the decision, all right? So things I like to usually ask in discovery, this is for business consulting, but you can move it for whatever your offer is. Obviously, I'm going to ask what the goal is. That's pretty basic. What's the goal? What's the struggle? What have you tried? Have you ever worked with a coach? Have you ran ads before? What's your experience in sales? What's your support system like? The reason I'm trying to ask this is I'm trying to have a basic understanding of where their business is at. The more I understand where their business is at, the better my advice can be. If you guys came and said, Tanner, what do you think I should do? And I said, well, where are your numbers? Like, I can't tell you that. What do you think I would say? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, okay? You're not going through and just asking questions that a sales trainer told you to ask. You actually want to understand the situation. Why? Because if your friend came to you and said, hey, Tanner, I have cancer. I'm like, dang, dude, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like, he's like, what do you think I should do? I was like, well, what do you want the outcome to be? Do you want to like try to fight it? Do you not want to try to fight it? He's like, yeah, I want to try to fight it. I'm like, cool, did you go to the doctors yet? I'm going to ask questions to understand what he's done before I give my advice. If you give advice before you understand the situation, that's dumb because it's not going to be good advice. So that's the first part is this, okay? The next part is that I'm trying to force a decision on the call. You can't make people do stuff you don't want them to do. But if you think about it, what's the objective of a sales call? I want to get their money. I want to get their money, right? Is anyone on here to like, I just want to talk to them and not get any money? No, we're like, at the end of the day, you want to help, but I'm trying to get the money. I want the credit card, and I'm not trying to waste my time, okay? I'm not trying to do 2 callbacks and follow-ups and meet for coffee. I'm not trying to do it. I'm like, dude, I got shit to do, and I'm trying to make money. So questions I'm asking is, hey, so, John, why today, not in a year? Why does it even matter? Hey, why do you care? If they don't care, they're not going to move forward. I got to fight that objection. So if he's like, well, I don't really care. I'm like, okay, then why are we on this call? I need to figure that objection out. And then I'll say, hey, are you ready to move forward today if it's a fit? What would make this feel certain for you? They're telling you what they want you to say. Do you guys get that? If I go to someone and I'm trying to convince them to be my friend, okay, and for whatever reason, let's say they're a famous person. And they're like telling me, yeah, dude, I get really sick of people using me all the time and all this type of stuff. They're telling you what they want. They're saying, don't use me. Do you guys get that? So it's easy when you ask these questions because they're like, yeah, it's not that important, or, it is really important. And so they're telling you exactly what they want you to say during your pitch. That's the point of discovery, okay? That's why sometimes people are like, man, you really get me, Tanner. I'm like, you told me what to say. Next one, how much money have you lost out not by taking action? Why is this important? Why do you think I asked this question? I asked that question because I go, well, you haven't taken action for a year. So if I got you to $10,000 a month and you're at 0, that means you've lost out on $120,000, right? And I put a number to it, so it hurts. If you're asking, Tanner, how did you come up with these questions? It comes from the objections I get at the end of the call. When people give me objections not to move forward, what do you think I change? I change my questions, right? Because I don't want the objections at the end. A perfect sales call has no objections and 100% certainty, okay? And you should be asking the question to get the answer you want. So you don't convince people. Do you guys, I'm not super religious, but I believe in the Bible a lot of the prophets got killed because they're telling people they're doing stuff wrong. People don't like to be told they're doing stuff wrong, okay? If you've ever done that, trust me, it's not going to work out well for you, okay? Don't tell your girl she's doing stuff wrong. You're like, you want to be like, why are you cleaning the dishes like that? You might say, babe, hey, I really appreciate everything you're doing. I'm just curious, like, why do you wash the plates like that? Is there a reason behind that? And she'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay, babe, that's actually super cool. I just, sometimes I do it in the circular motion instead of up and down because it gets the streaks better, but like, thank you so much, I love you. And then what happens is she starts thinking, maybe Maybe I should start cleaning the dishes that way. You put thoughts in people's mind. It's like Inception. You guys seen the movie Inception? Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio, that's one of my favorite movies. You ask questions that puts the thought in their mind. They think it's their idea, okay? You don't convince people by telling them they're wrong. Oh, you don't sign up for elite CEOs, you're an idiot. You're so stupid. I'm like, guys, look, end of the day, if you don't want to sign up for elite CEOs, that's fine, but I'm telling you, if you're at this revenue level and you're not here, there's some issues you have in leads and sales, and if you don't get help, you're probably gonna elongate how long it takes, and the longer it takes you to get there, the less likely you're gonna be successful because you're gonna quit your business. So you start thinking. I'm just asking or saying things that help you think. I can't tell you the answer because you're gonna reject that. People don't like being told they're wrong. Trust me, in my life, it's the same thing. I have to come to the conclusion on my own. If someone tells me what to do, it does not work, okay? It's very normal. Okay, third point. This is a structure, guys. So it's like number 1, number 2, number 3. So when I'm doing a sales call, this is a structure I have in front of my face. Number 3, point out their flaws. So I'll just say something like, hey, so it sounds like the biggest thing for you is this, and if we can figure that out, you're gonna move forward. Is that cool? I also get all these micro commitments. Get them to say yes, 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 yes. So by the end of the call, when I ask for the card, they say yes, right? Exactly. They say yes, all right? The pitch. This is what we did yesterday with the offer. So yesterday, that 3-pillar pitch we did with the offer, this is where it comes into the sales pitch. So for this section, we need to know what our competitors are doing for comparison. Most people assume that the prospect knows what good and bad looks like. This is incorrect. They do not. They are dumb. You have to think people are dumb. They don't know. When I started a business and I started consulting, I would tell people stuff and they're like, I don't understand. I'm thinking, how do you not understand? But I forgot I'd done 2 years of ClickFunnels and emails and active campaign and all these things. And they're like, Tanner, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I would get upset and like, man, are people this stupid? And then my mentor's like, yeah. He's like, you got to dumb it down, man. He's like, you got to dumb it down like they're a baby.